So the idea of PTSD, in terms of how I think about it, which is how the evidence-based thinks about it, is that essentially we're traumatized by somebody else. Something happens, an event happens. We're born, we're okay. And then a really traumatic thing happens. It's unexpected, it's life-threatening, it's horrific. And that changes us. It changes us biologically in that we make a different memory of that event than all of our other memories. And it changes us psychologically in that we create these abnormal trauma-induced beliefs. And the good news, though, is that over time, with help, it's possible to change these trauma memories back to fully processed memories. The rub, in essence, or the difficulty, is that when you were traumatized, pretty much by definition, you were overwhelmed. And so it was so awful you couldn't process it in your brain, and so therefore you created this trauma memory. So you might say, well, when I think about it again, I'm re-exposed to it, won't I just be overwhelmed again? And the answer is yes. And in fact, over time, it tends to get worse and worse. After about 6 months, it becomes extremely difficult to do it on your own. But the good news is that it turns out that biologically, people can help each other. Two people can biologically deal with much more intense emotion than one person can. And that's just the way we're made. I always like to say, I can't tell you why. I can only tell you what. And the what's pretty clear, that two people can deal with much more intense emotion. In some ways, that's why therapy helps. Therapy doesn't change what happened to you. Therapy doesn't, change a lot of things, but it gives you the capacity to deal with intense emotions that you otherwise couldn't deal with. And a loved one can do the same thing. There are some caveats to making sure you don't traumatize each other, but it can be extremely helpful. On all the workbooks I have a quote at the beginning that says that we are traumatized alone, we heal together. And that's sort of the essence of trauma. Trauma happens to us individually. We're traumatized, we're by ourselves, we feel helpless and trapped, but collectively we can heal. There is no trauma that we cannot collectively heal from. And I say that not from personal experience because I've been so traumatized. It's because I've treated people and other people have treated people that have been in wars, that have been POWs, and they can heal. It's not easy, it's horrific. I wouldn't do this to my enemies, but you can get better.